The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the expresser, and do not necessarily represent those of the owner, management, or anyone else. This program is meant for mature listeners, and some of the language and topics may not be suitable for younger or sensitive individuals. If you are easily offended, or have a delicate constitution, you may want to turn the program off now. The program uses facts, fiction, sarcasm, and parody, and any references to specific individuals that may or may not have done something, is based on something found on the internet. Use discretion when listening, and always feel free to double-check our information if you want.
And let's talk it all, and that is the highway to hell.
Yeah.
Which we are.
And who are you?
I am Anvil.
And I'm Jeff.
And
got my railroad hat on tonight.
Railroad hat.
Choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
Choo-choo Jeffy.
Thomas
Choo-choo
Train.
Chevy. So, I did a choo-choo train once. Me and a couple other people and a girl up the choo-choo train. Good time.
Yeah, back in my day it was a trail wagon.
Trail wagon.
But
I went from a trail wagon to a
that's how
choo-choo
old I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is gonna be a down and dirty kind of a quick show. I just wanted to cover all the gosh darn crazy shit that's been going on in the last.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
Sponsors.
Yes.
Excite.
Well, Excite Motorsports in Vesta, New York.
Vesta, New York.
Vesta, New York. Excite Motorsports. Great people, family owned. Great dealership. Great carry all kinds of ATVs and SUVs and all kinds of neat stuff. ATVs. Whatever.
SUVs,
same thing.
RVs.
Yeah, RVs, off-road
LMPs.
shit. But great dealership, and that's in West New York. And there's another dealership as well that I deal with, and they're in a different market, quite a bit further away, but it's in Pine City, New York, and it's called Curran RV, another great family-owned business. In fact, they are the largest supplier of CF Moto parts in the United States, and I think for the rest of the world, actually, at this point. So it's another great place to get an ATV or side-by-side, or by the way, they also sell trailers and campers as well. Brand ones.
Nice,
yes, it's a very big dealership. So Curran RV in Pine City, New York, and Excite Motorsports in Vestal, New York.
We should probably add that these are unsolicited promotions.
Yeah, we're not.
So please don't hold them accountable for anything we may or may not say on the show.
Yeah, they do not endorse this show. No. I endorse that.
Right.
And also, Anvil got me this great book.
That was it from last month or so ago.
Yep. So I will be reading this on my ATV trip this week.
Kenny Harris, the American Cryptids. He is an interesting fellow.
Yes.
About 6'2", 6'3", skinny as a rail, mohawk mullet.
Really?
and a Bigfoot cryptid hunter. So nice guy.
Yeah. Huh.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah. We sabbaticaled last week, and we're back this week for, like I said, hopefully a quick show, not going to take too long.
So why don't you jump right in?
But there's been a lot of shenanigans, we'll say, going on. So I'll get right to the list of things.
I have my glasses on. You should read glasses.
Let me just, in case anyone wants to jump in.
Oh yeah, turn on the.
We're gonna turn on this, and that'll have the.
This is a night for Gentleman Jack.
That'll have the address we can turn on.
Oh yeah.
And I think I threw it. No, I'm gonna try to.
Oh, he's skipping on.
I am. I might have a little melon later at the time. If you go either to Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching it, in the comment box, I put the link. So if you want to jump in, more than welcome to. But
Yes.
Kick things off.
Kick things
off. A lot going on. A lot of distraction things going on.
Oh, did you see? This is this is awesome. This is Superman. I had to share that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Shooting in Buffalo 2 weeks ago now.
Yes.
Gentleman from our backyard, Conklin,
New York.
Conklin, New York, not Nantucket, Conklin, New York. Piece ship from Conklin, New York. Drove all the way to Buffalo, New York, to basically hunt black people. And
so they say. Now here's the thing. Allegedly on the shore.
We're not convicted.
We are 100% right 50% of the time here.
Right.
Exactly. So with that said, honest to God, I have read zero. I mean, literally zero. I've watched zero news about this event as the one in Texas. I have not watched any.
Okay.
I haven't done any research. Not a dime. You know why? Because it's all since, it's just this stuff has happened in the past, and I was having this discussion with someone else the other night.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff has happened in the past, and the only reason we hear so much about it now is because the media is so quick. You got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got all this shit, and this is the reason why it's so more intensified. Why do we hear so much more news about it? So it's not. To me, it's new. Obviously, it's tragic news. But again, I'm personally sick and tired of all of it. But that's just me.
I hear you.
I mean, people tune into shows like this to get away from reality, and that's reality, unfortunately. But go ahead.
I think you're hearing about the Buffalo one. You heard about the Buffalo one so much because it was, made for the whole racist scenario plot line.
Right.
White guy, white kid drives to Buffalo, picked Buffalo. And again, I guess my fin, and I know there were people calling this a false flag right off the bat. Honest to God, you didn't need to drive all the way to Buffalo. You could have gone to Binghamton on any given afternoon or evening and probably, unfortunately, accomplished the same thing.
Yep.
Just saying. So he may have made them more. So there's that shooting going on. So that's riled up the whole gun thing. Formula shortage. Baby formula shortage.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now this is a thing now. I just don't understand how the United States of America, if not the greatest, per capita, probably the wealthiest country in the nation, can be running out of baby formula. I just don't get it. I don't get it. How we're importing it now from Europe.
Yep.
We could be importing it from our own Border Patrol warehouses where they have it stockpiled. And I guess they're putting it all back. Abbott, which is not a pharmaceutical but a manufacturing company, makes 46% of all the formula in the United States. And initially, that plant got shut down because of this, that, and the other thing. And what they didn't tell you initially is that they shut the plant down in February. Shut the plant down in. Is this going to blow up? Shut the plant down in February of this year. February, for possible contamination issues. I believe one infant had a problem, and the FDA went in and shut it down.
What? Here's what. Okay, one infant, but this is the society we live in now today. Someone had a problem with a Christmas tree in a store once, and no more Christmas trees. Someone had an issue with a cross in a store. There's no more crosses in stores. And I'm just using these examples. So there's so many different subjects I could pick now where, it should. I wish to stop while ahead because I want to say things I don't want to say.
Yeah.
But regardless, this is society. So there was one problem, so we had to blow it out of proportion, shut everything down. That's what we do now. That's how America works.
Well, I wish they had blown it out of proportion back in February. So we might have been aware of the fact that the main manufacturer of baby formula producing almost half of the country's supply, stopped production 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Stopped production for 120 days. Anyone that's worked in manufacturing, stopping production for 120 days, you're stopping a lot of production.
True enough.
So all that nonsense is going on. Gas is cresting $5. It's at $4.90 right now in this area.
Right. And it was going up today, and it'll go up tomorrow because they should hit the sweet spot about $5 a gallon, just in time for travel for this holiday weekend coming up. Well, so it should be about $5 a gallon. I mean, really damn close to it for this coming weekend. Well, which just basically hits one of my predictions. When so this is how it is. And as you saw, Mr. Biden has made the remark, and the right remark, by the way. And unfortunately, the White House tried to walk it back, which was a mistake.
Transformational situation.
No. I'm jumping to something else. It's kind of related to this. It's related. So just hang with me, folks. So he said we would basically defend Taiwan military when we get involved. Which was exactly the right thing to say, by the way. This is the one thing he's done right, other than the no-fly zone. Second thing he's done right. Okay, two things he's done right. Unfortunately, his own White House is working against him, and they tried to walk back the comments.
Right.
Well, that just pissed the Chinese off even more because we look like we're divided, and we look like we're unsure. So what did they do? They launched the largest military drills they've ever had off the coast of Taiwan starting today. This was the Chinese response: aircraft carriers, destroyers, submarines, aircraft. I mean, just crazy amount of military hardware. And at the same time, of course, we're sending all kinds of shit there too. We got shit stationed that we can be in the Taiwan Strait within 2 days. Major aircraft battle groups, carrier battle groups. So I made the prediction that China would go for Taiwan.
Yeah.
And I said it would happen this year. It's looking pretty damn sure I'm going to be right. And September, October, somewhere in there, look out. And everyone thinks gas is bad now. Get ready for $10 a gallon.
Right, forecasting double digits by fall.
Yeah, $10 a gallon.
Yeah. Double digits by fall. Shortages, rationing. As of 2 weeks ago, they were already saying there were shortages in DC itself. Yep. Again, sort of like the fucking formula. How are we being time warped back to the 70s when we had gas shortages and fuel shortages? I don't understand.
And of course, Saudi Arabia just said, there's not too much more we can do. We're pretty much done. They said that today. We're not helping anymore. We're not making more. We're not going to produce anymore. This is our ally, which we protected from invasion for 30, 40 years now. Yes. Actually longer, 40, 50 years. So interesting times.
And I was being douches, but we didn't need them. Well, we do now, but we really didn't need them before.
No, and again, this goes all back to not using the natural resources we have here. You're not gonna, by making gas $10 a gallon, it actually hurts people even more in the ability to buy an electric car. They can't save any money for an electric car now. So because they're paying too much for they can't make that jump if they wanted to. And this is, it's like simple math, and no one quite gets it. And you get it, obviously. I get it. And I think a vast majority of Americans get it, actually. It's that minority that are running shit that are fucking it all up. What's his approval rating at today? As of today, it was 36%.
I was going to say it's below 39.
It's 36%. Yeah. 36%. That is unbelievable. In fact, they put out a poll I copied upstairs. Real Clear Politics, actually, and they keep track of everything. Mm-hmm. All different kinds of polls. And can you guess the highest ranked politician in the national stream right now for favorability versus unfavorability is? It's actually Donald Trump. He's got a better favorability than Biden by like 5-6 points. Schumer by like 15. Everybody. He blows Warren. All of them blows them all out of the water for favorability in comparison. and this is from Real Clear Politics again, who takes the national averages and averages them out. If the election was held today, Trump would win the states he lost, and in some places by 11 points. 11 points he'd win these states.
Maybe.
Not maybe. This is the polls they put out. 11. Oh yeah, unless they cheat again. Yeah,
maybe.
So yeah,
maybe.
But regardless, this is just it is
in theory.
It's incredible how much they have things up in such a short amount of time. It's just nuts, and they're like blaming everything but their policies and their actions.
Well, we'll get into the politicians
Go
now.
ahead. Sorry.
40 billion to the Ukraine. I am not unsympathetic to the Ukraine situation,
right?
Except for the fact that they are pretty much almost right back to where they were for the last 8 years. And I can understand if they said, well, we are sending the equivalency of 40 billion in military hardware, but they're not. They're sending pallets of fucking cash.
Yeah. Cash, small arms. I mean, you name it. But
there's no oversight.
No, that's the problem.
Just giant chunks.
Yeah, just throw it at them
for this. They're giant chunks for that.
Yep.
Again, not
they're handing out. Here we are in this country. We're debating, assault rifles. That scary name, because of the the different things that went on recently. And this is what always blows my mind. As we're debating this here in this country, and the left's all up, and the independents are a little pissed off, and all these gun rights issues are coming up again. We're handing out M16s, literally fully automatic machine guns to teenagers in Ukraine right now. We're handing them to them. This is what we're doing. We're giving them fully automatic weapons to defend their country.
No, that's yes.
But that's different, right?
Well, that's different. It is different.
Yeah. But the point being is we will hand this shit out to anybody if it serves our interest. Ukraine beating Russia, the shit serves our interest. Sorry, but it does.
Yeah, right now it does. Yeah. So.
Oh, of course, then we have jump around a little bit here. Robbie Mook, the guy that ran Hillary Clinton's campaign against Donald Trump. The head, the top, right underneath Hillary Clinton is Mr. Mook. Testified in court that, yes, they are the ones who put the false, Russia collusion dossier together with the help of, make-believe people, basically.
And when did you testify about that?
What's that?
When did you testify about that? Would that be about the same time that some whack job anchor baby walked into an elementary school in Texas and shot the place up?
Right. But he testified in court.
I know.
This week. We did it.
I know.
It was us.
That's definitely.
And Hillary knew about it, and she gave the okay. Her lawyer did the same thing. The lawyer said, "Yes,
oh yeah,
we did it. The head lawyer for the entire campaign. Yep, we did that." Remember, I said when this all broke on this show, it's recorded numerous times. I said this was a conspiracy against Donald Trump's and Trump campaign, and I said there was nothing to it. I said it over and over and over, and I was 100% right. I predicted this. I predicted this 100%, and I was right. Another prediction of mine that came true.
Well, and the one lawyer is on trial right now.
Yep. Well, that's the lawyer that testified today.
Right. Yeah. So that's all. But I will tell you right now.
Oh, and this lawyer, by the way, you should look up his history, what he was related to before this. My God, he was part of the investigation into these false charges against Donald Trump during the impeachment series.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my! Shocker.
Chances are, even though there is insurmountable evidence against this guy, they probably will not convict. At least 3 people on the jury are donors to Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
One of the jurors' daughter plays on some sports team with the guy's daughter that's being on trial. And there was some other conflict of interest. I think someone was a big AOC donor as well. So almost half the jury pool or jury is tainted one way or the other to not convict this guy. But whatever. Yes, that's all coming out. Food shortage, gas shortages, southern border out of control, just hordes and hordes of illegal immigrants crossing. Nothing. There's only so much
we're sending
do.
$40 billion to Ukraine to help secure their borders. To secure their borders against Russia and illegal invaders into their country. We can't spend a dime on our own borders to do the same. We're not doing nothing. We're letting them in. In fact, the Biden administration is busting them, putting them on buses and sitting in other cities.
Planes, giving them cell phone.
Yep. Giving them money. Here you go.
Even though one of the lower Supreme Courts ruled that whatever it's called, Article 42 or
Article 47 or 42,
whatever it is actually legal to be in place. Biden administration is ignoring that and just turning them loose, wherever you want to turn them loose, not tracking them, not giving them flu shots. I said I got to wear a mask at work again because there's been an uptick in the goddamn virus. Even though I've had it, been vaccinated, been boosted, been antibody treated, patted a couple times, anal probed. I've got to wear a mask, and we're just letting these people cross the border from wherever, and go wherever and do whatever with an upcoming election in 6 months.
Well, the good thing about this is I made the prediction many times in the show, and I wanted to take a victory lap. I think you saw one of my posts about this. Biden will be stepping aside due to health reasons. That would be the official excuse, but it's because his own party's pushing him out. They're pushing him out. They're going to have a closed door meeting with the man very shortly. If he makes it into the first week of December, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, they're going to get past midterms.
Yeah.
Before they do this, but
yeah, because they know once the House goes to the Senate and Congress, Biden will be impeached, and they will his own party's gonna tell him this is what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you have to get out, and it'll be interesting because then they're not happy with Kamala and whatever how you call her.
Yeah,
they're not happy with her approval ratings, and her likability is actually even lower than Biden's. So that puts the entire Democratic establishment in a deep shit because they got a real general election coming up in a short amount of time after this. So who's going to be their front runner? Who's going to be, lead the Democratic mantle, if you will? So there's nothing in the Constitution that bars two impeachments at the same time, or one being resigning and then an impeachment process starting against the other. There's nothing to stop Congress and the Senate, even controlled by the Democrats at the time, to start this process. So you're seeing a lot of Elizabeth Warren in the news, a lot. Mm-hmm. If you look on the news, it's her. She's the one out there. That tells me she's their golden child in their eyes. I think she's the one they think will take the mantle. But anyway, we shall see. So I did predict originally that she would have been the Democratic nominee. I was wrong. And I said it would be an all-female ticket. Maybe I was just off by a few years.
So. And no pun intended, but politics trumps everything.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't matter what's going on. This latest shooting in Texas is case in fucking point. Politics trumps everything. And that'll lead me into crazy shit. So, Obama finally, after all these years, finally stepped in it and took the opportunity to use the Texas shooting to memorialize George Floyd on the second anniversary.
Yep.
So yes, we're here to grieve these children, but it is the second anniversary of George Floyd being senselessly murdered by the police, and that has not gone over well.
Thank God.
On a lot of fronts.
Yeah.
That has not gone over well. Berto.
Oh, yeah, another jackass.
O'Rourke, whatever his name is.
He just sank his career with that.
Governor Abbott, who is the legitimate governor right now, the lieutenant governor. There were also Democrats at this press conference that were there to speak and say what they had to say, along with law enforcement. This guy crashed the press conference.
But he bought the seats ahead of time, so he knew what he was doing. It wasn't like it was...
So I won't say he crashed it, but he became the first heckler.
It was a political planned event to gain momentum in the race that he's running for governorship.
The only thing would have made it better is if he had a shoe and threw it at Governor Abbott.
True enough.
I'm just saying. That's a Texas thing they do to Texas politicians is
throw shoes.
Throw shoes at him. Google George Bush. Don't know what that's all about. Yeah, so the Texas shooting, again, it's just so much shit going on about that. Also, this past week, instead of our Congress, our representatives worried about figuring out a solution to the formula, to the Ukraine thing, to everything that's going on, decide to hold hearings on UFOs and the legitimacy of.
Yeah, well, I got my thoughts on that.
Okay, we'll get to that. I'm just saying, I don't know if this is really the right week.
No, this is perfect. We talk it all. We bring.
No. I mean, for our Congress.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't know if this is really top priority for these fuckers to be working on. The DGB, which is the something disinformation governance board, DGB, has been put on hold.
Yeah.
Because they feel that there's been misinformation about it that is causing problems. So until they get disinformation about this information board fixed, they put it on hold. And I think they got rid of that idiot they selected to run.
Well, the woman they had propped up to do it, she's filled with a colorful past on Twitter of disinformation.
Oh, is she ever?
And it's funny, and she started complaining about death threats against her and people wishing her to die and all this stuff, and this. She was basically alluding that it should be controlled on Twitter and Facebook and all these comments she's getting. And that scared the shit out of people. Whoa. We're going to put this woman in charge. She can't take a little heat. Yeah, you can't take the heat in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
No. And I do. Again, the administration, every fucking thing they touch, they turn to shit. Everything they do. It's just like, how stupid. Who behind Biden? The chief of staff, I can't think of the guy's name right now for Biden. He's the one that's really running the shit. And this fucker, he's a far left fucker. I know that. I've done some research on him. This guy, he's running the country into the ground. I can't believe that there hasn't been a meeting between Nancy and the VP's office and Schumer telling Biden that fucker's got to go. I'm shocked. I'm literally shocked. But anyway.
What was interesting, and I didn't know this, and they buried this very well, like they do with a lot of stuff in the and I thought it was the UN. So I was trying to look it up under UN, and I couldn't find nothing. Like, holy shit, I know this was in there. It's not the UN, it's the World Health Organization, WHO.
Oh, the new treaty.
There's a treaty.
Yes.
Oh, you know about it.
Yeah.
So there's a treaty that they have out there that they've gotten countries to sign that says we don't believe there should be disinformation about health issues, and sign this treaty so that you'll support us in this, and blah, 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 blah. And basically they put it back onto the countries to deal with it when it happens. And this all happened about the same time that the Ministry of Truth came out public. And that was going to play into it perfectly, because that was going to come out and get put in place. And then if it came out that the World Health Organization had this going on too. So once again, like the UN, we've got a world organization dictating what we can and can't do constitutionally in our own country.
Yep.
And they can go, fuck themselves. And but the shooting is just a myriad of wrong information being thrown out there, and seeing if it sticks against the wall. I heard the other day, one of these CNN reports, someone made the comment that more children have been killed in mass shootings than any other reason in the United States. And I've got to think car accidents are still up there. Yeah, I gotta think. Yeah. There's drunk drivers. There's all kinds. Anyways, monkeypox.
Yeah,
Have you heard about the
I heard
monkeypox?
about the monkeypox.
I don't think it's the COVID 2.0.
No, it's not.
It's too obvious you have it.
Right.
It's too. They need if they need a replacement for COVID, it needs to be something so stealthy and insidious that you can be perfectly fine, perfectly healthy,
Right.
and you would still have to be locked down.
Yeah.
Because
like Super 8 or something.
Because your nails are growing at an abnormally fast rate or some shit like that.
Right.
So I won't worry about the monkeypox. I think it's going to find its way back to Africa here shortly and stay there. I think it was just a test balloon. See what kind of traction they get.
Yeah.
There's a case in Massachusetts.
Huh?
Or I think someone said there was a case in New York City. Back to the shooter again. False flag. I think there's cases to be made for false flag. Like I said, the Buffalo shooter drove 3.5, 4 hours. Could have done it a lot closer, a lot less chance of getting pulled over, stopped. I don't know. But the guy in Texas, this kid turned 18 2 weeks ago. From everything I'm getting, minimum job, wage job, high school dropout, living with grandma, who he shot in the face before he started this whole rampage, was able to afford $2,000 worth of rifles, another $500 to $750 worth of a tactical scope, a tactical scope from one rifle, plus 350 rounds of ammunition, 223. I worked a decent job. I'm having a hard time paying my $400.
Well, maybe he took his grandma's credit card.
Well, right after he shattered in the fucking face. So I'm thinking, again, just more the circumstances. So I'm thinking he's only that either mom and dad are dead or whatever. They got sent back to Mexico and he was left here with grandma. No, mom's still alive. And when they caught up with mom, she can't believe her son would do something like this. Shocked that her son would just. I just don't believe he would do something that violent. Mom can't believe she did that. Biden, in one of his tirades, basically made it clear that the Second Amendment was not absolute. Not absolute. There's always been restrictions on the Second Amendment because in 1790 you couldn't own a cannon.
Apparently,
I'm pretty sure you could own a cannon.
Missed the part shall not be infringed. Apparently, you missed that part of the sentence.
Well, no, because they infringed on it way back then. You weren't allowed to have a cannon back then.
That's true.
But I think you were.
Could be.
I think you were. I'm pretty sure they didn't. You weren't. I don't think you were allowed to have your own battleship. But I'm pretty sure you have your own cannon because again, every citizen was considered part of the militia, and the militia needed cannons. So one of the citizens had to have a cannon.
True enough. You could have your own ball and chain.
You could have your own ball and chain, and be white. Department of Homeland Security warns increasing violence in we've lost track of this. The pro-abortion thing.
Oh yeah,
that's still raging, but it's not getting the traction.
No, it's not getting the traction
that they hoped it would.
No. And I said it wouldn't.
Except these fuckers are still protesting.
No, and they screwed themselves.
Okay.
Actually, the Senate, when they went to the Congress and the Senate to control everything, put up the bill that they were going to support abortions right up to the time of birth. Right to that very last moment before its birth, you could terminate. When they did that, the rest of the country was outraged because, granted, majority, a small percentage, again, it's like 2%, 3% do support abortions. Okay, I mean, up to a certain point. But when the Democrats, again, God damn it, you're so fucking stupid. When you push a bill, when you get it right to the point of birth, your percentage of support of that is less than 20%.
Yeah.
And that 20% are fucking nutcases. You lost so much of America with that bill. They killed their own issue. They literally killed it for themselves because it's that fucking stupid. It's like, oh my gosh. Remember, I said I used to be a Democrat, and that's what drives me nuts about the party is it's not the party anymore. It's these radicals that control it. And this is another radical stupid shit that they ran. It's like, how stupid can you be? What's wrong with you?
To the exception of New York and California, most of the states that do allow it, are tolerant of the 20-week mark, 15,
Right.
20-week mark.
Right.
They feel that's appropriate. Whatever. Yeah, but when you go beyond that, yeah, you're going to start losing people left and right.
Literally.
Once, whether people or fetuses. Once again, I'll say this again. This is I think, and this is how, if I was a politician.
Thank God he's not.
Thank God I'm not. Well, you might think God, you wish it was. My barometer, my limbo bar would be, is Bill Maher going against what I believe in, going for what I believe in? And if the answer is Bill Maher is going for what I believe in, then as the person opposing me, you have to say, maybe I'm too far left at this point. A couple things from Bill Maher this week, and the last week and a half, basically called out the protesters at the Supreme Court justice houses and called out the government. When the government says they don't have a position, he's like, you have a position. It's illegal. It's against the law. That should be your position. It's against the law. He called out the transgender movement for the way it's dragging children into the mix. Yeah, so like I said, when Bill Maher could very well co-host a show with us on a lot of the topics that are going on right now, the left has to take a step back and say,
yeah,
we've gone too far.
We've gone way too far.
They're looking behind them to see the line in the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just goddamn crazy.
And I said in the elections that are coming up this year, I originally thought maybe 15, 20 seats in Congress, but I'm predicting 30, maybe 40.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be such a gigantic switch in power. It's going to be unbelievable. I mean, and they've done it to themselves. It's not because the Republicans are running better ideas. Okay, in some sense they are, but the Democrats have just constantly shot themselves in the foot with this crazy shit. It's batshit crazy and independence. We know this. We look at her like, what are they fucking doing? You know, it's again, I used to be a registered Democrat. And I'm like, what are they doing? They're going nuts. They're, like you said, the line. It's like,
way back. Turn around.
It's like a mile back.
Turn around and get a pair of binoculars to see where that line is.
Yeah.
Elections, primaries, with the exception of Georgia, Trump has been dead on.
Yeah, was it 78-1, 78-2? He's got 78 right, 2 losses.
Well, yeah,
like
Georgia. He took a beating in Georgia, and I think, and you Democrats better hope Donald never changes. Trump does a lot of things right, but he holds a grudge like no one I've ever seen. And a lot of the Georgia politicians fucked him, Republicans.
Yep.
And he took this opportunity to try to stick it in their ass. He didn't endorse them. He endorsed the other guy. He talked people into running against incumbents. I think if he had dialed out his emotions a little bit, he probably would be having a perfect game.
Yeah.
But we still got more going on. But yeah, he with the exception of Georgia, he's hit every state.
And that's funny because you look at the news like, oh, is Trump power waning? Because he lost. But they won't look at the media, the fake news media won't take. But he had like 70 others right.
Yeah, for 2 days all I heard about the Georgia thing.
Yeah,
Herschel Walker still won.
Yep.
Which I think would be, but this ignorant cunt, Stacey Abrams.
Oh, she's done. She won't even come close.
She's a piece of work.
It was a Kemp, right? Is that his name? Kemp, Georgia. Yeah. He's walking away with it. She shot herself in the foot too with her leftist crazy shit. Yeah. She said something stupid this week and it totally backfired on her. Worst state living is Georgia is what she said.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Oh, yeah,
you're done. You just insulted everybody in your own state.
Right. Well,
and you had some independents who were going to vote for you. Now you're fucking stupid.
Well, they break out the numbers and more people than ever have voted in the last 2 elections in Georgia than ever.
Yeah.
Voter registration, voters going to the polls, up huge.
Yep.
And they're crying voter suppression.
And again, this is why he was going to walk away with it. Yeah. It's a lock. I don't even like. She should just drop out now. That's how low of a chance she actually has to win. So she should drop on that. Then go ahead.
They're touting her as a potential contender for 2024. I'm like, let it happen.
Yeah, please.
Let that happen.
Oh my God, that was just bloodbath.
So on Facebook, there is a list of 250-ish schools and educational institutions that have had what they call mass shootings since 1998. There's one right before Columbine that happened a year before Columbine, then Columbine. It seemed like a lot to me.
Well, the thing is, at least they've moved on from post office. Remember, the term used to be go postal.
Go postal.
Now it's going to be go. What do you use?
Go scholar.
Go scholar.
Go scholar.
Go scholar.
So I got the list, threw it into a spreadsheet. I got through the first 18 or so. So of the first 18, dating back to 98 for one, and then there's some in 99, 2000.
He's actually got a chart in front of him.
2001. Yeah. So most of these are between 98 and let's say 2002. Of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 were actually a mass shooting in a school. And I think the left's definition of mass is 2 or more. In my tabulation, I did not count if the shooter committed suicide or was killed by police. I will not count him as a fucking victim of this. Thurston High School was the first one they have on record. In May of 98, 2 adults, 2 children, 25 wounded. They used knives and pistols and rifles. Columbine, that shit show was 1 adult, 12 children, students, and 21 wounded. Everything: knives, pistols, rifles, shotguns, explosives, all 9 yards. There's a couple where next one would be no one was killed. There was just 6 injured. Deming Middle School. This was a beef between 2 girls. So this person didn't go and looking to create carnage.
Right.
She had one person in mind. She went in and shot her.
Right.
Again, Fort Gibson Middle School, 4 wounded. Another middle school, again, 1 student was killed. This was a specific person they had targeted. Another middle school, same thing. An adult was killed. They were targeted. University of Arkansas, professor was targeted. The Junipero Sierra High School in March, and this was actually 2019. I don't know why that's out of order like that, but it is. No one. This was actually prevented. So I'm not sure whether they're including this in their mass casualty.
But this is how the media works.
I know, right, and that's my point.
Fake news.
This was actually prevented, and no one was hurt. Another high school, two killed, 13 wounded, and then the next couple were targeted. One individual either shot or wounded. Two more where it was specific people targeted. Appalachian School of Law. So this is a college. It must be like a community college type thing. 3 adults, they were professors and a dean, were shot. 3 more wounded. But this guy was taken out by 2 students who, and I'm sure this was a violation of campus policy, who had firearms in their car, heard the shots, went to the car, got their guns, and actually took out the shooter before he could do any more harm. I believe 2 of the 3 wounded were the two kids trying to stop him with guns. Washington High School, 4 children were killed, 2 were wounded. This was actually a mass shooting. I did quotation marks. Conception Abbey, which was actually a monastery. They're including the monastery in this. 2 were killed. It was a 71-year-old man who was pissed off that he got bad advice about his divorce and went back and shot a priest in a Monsignor or some crazy shit like that. Benjamin Tasker Middle School. This is being included in the mass shootings. One person was wounded, a young girl. This was actually connected to the DC sniper.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. I remember that.
This was a DC sniper casualty. It happened at or near a school, so it got.
Oh, yeah, of course you got to add that in there.
And then another college where 3 students were killed. Most of these were committed with a pistol. A couple were long guns. There's one besides the Columbine, which Columbine was, they had very odd, bizarre assortment of guns. There were sawed-off things and things like that. The Abbey one, someone actually used a sawed-off 22 and an AK-47 type gun. 18 of the 250 I've looked at. Yeah, these are unfortunate, but they're not totaling up into the numbers that are on any given weekend in Chicago.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like the first 18, these first 18 don't even equal a weekend in Chicago.
I was going to say, the guns
So
you can't own a gun in Chicago, but apparently there's all these shootings every weekend and deaths every weekend in Chicago. And I don't understand it because they have the strictest gun laws. You can't even own a gun, but you have all this gun violence in Chicago. I don't understand how that's happening.
Washington D.C., St. Louis, I think is another one that's horrible.
We have the SAFE Act in New York. How did that shooting in Buffalo even?
Red flags. Red flag laws.
Oh, the red flags.
How did this guy get past red flags when he threatened to shoot up a school 2 years ago?
So maybe is it possible that gun laws don't work? Is it a possibility?
If you don't enforce them. They don't work if you don't enforce them.
Yeah. Well.
And then, the argument is, well, it links it to mental health laws and things you can't reveal about people in mental health laws, and we need to look at changing that. So after, it must have been Sandy Hook, I guess, is when they had the biggest uprise. And Democrats couldn't push through legislation about guns because of the Republicans blocking it. They just gave up. They didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Why wasn't the legislation pushed through to harden schools as a target? Take down your gun-free zone signs, one. Even if you just start out with one or two armed guards and a metal detector, and then work up from there to a more safer situation.
They've been in power for how long?
One point of entry.
How long have the Democrats been in power? All three branches are in power because they had the tie-breaking vote in the Senate. So, right. Okay, at least 2 years. Let's say 2 years. So, with that being said, where's all the legislation they could have passed? They were in control of Congress. They're in control of the Senate. And they have the president. Where is it?
Right.
Tell me where it is. You didn't pass anything. You didn't do anything. You didn't even put up a bill. Nothing. The voting record's there. They'll sit there and cry now.
Because if it passed, they have nothing to argue about. They have nothing to campaign on.
It's saying it's the NRA fault, or this person's fault, or that person's fault, or this group's fault, or this political party's fault. Well, you got to look yourself in the mirror. You've been in charge for all three branches of government for quite some time now, and you haven't done shit for anything. Actually, you haven't done shit about anything.
And this is all politicians. I mean, Republicans could just easily done the same thing. Say, you know what? We're not going to let this go through, but we need to put $40 billion into safeguarding our schools. $40 billion, by the way, that we're borrowing from fucking China.
Yeah, money.
We're borrowing from China to send $40 billion to the Ukraine.
Yeah, after we told them that we would go to war with them over Taiwan.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to kick your ass if you go after Taiwan, but hey, can we have $40 billion?
Again, they need to all go, with the exception of maybe 5%.
Yeah.
This
kind of goes back to the whole Capitol riot thing. And again, I never got what they were trying to accomplish with this thing. I mean, you did a half-assed job of it. If you're really that intent on an overthrow, you got to get them all, and you got to mount their heads on spikes lining the road to the White House or to the Capitol. That's how you do it. That's in the Roman times. This is how things were done.
In Roman times,
in Sparta and shit, like this is how you did things. You got them. You roped them all up. You chopped off their heads, and then you mounted their heads on spikes.
See, really, Roman times.
I'm not saying that's what we should do. But let's back up.
Roman times were crucifixion.
We're talking here. We are not advocating.
Yes, this is the.
We're not advocating. What I'm pointing out is I couldn't
parody and sarcasm part of our show.
I couldn't understand what the hell they were trying to accomplish because it was a half-assed thing, and I never still to this day I don't understand what the fuck they're trying to accomplish with this. If you're gonna do something, goddamn, at least do it right. Or not right, but regardless, go all the way.
Do it with some efficiency.
If you're going to overthrow a government, you got to go 100%.
Don't fucking phone it in.
Yeah, don't phone it in.
Don't phone it in.
Yeah, this is not you'll call out the pizza.
I mean, I know you're saying Trump phoned it in, but I think he was trying to stop it. But you're right. Trump should have gone there in person to slow it down. That'd have been the perfect photo op right there. Don hanging out with the water buffalo king. So. I guess that's part of my rant tonight is that there should be an option where the politicians get a certain percent, like Georgia. You got 50% of the vote in Georgia to be elected. That should be, and if they don't, I just think they all need to be chopped. They all need to be chopped.
Well, I think it would be a great idea, and again, we'd have to amend the Constitution, which takes a majority of states to do so. But constitutional amendment where on elections, whether it be state or federal, not just have to be each state would have to do their own. State elections would be different. But what if there's an option of neither? So if the majority of people pick neither candidate becomes, and both parties have to put up someone new, and you have to do the process again. I'm okay with that. I'd be down with that. They may draw out shit for quite some time and shit wouldn't get done for a while, but at least we get some decent people.
Yeah, I mean, right now that option's called not voting, then that doesn't do anything
because you still have people are still going to vote. A smaller percentage will determine who's going to be.
It should be called the D's nuts bill. On every ballot, there is D's nuts. Yeah. And if you don't like any of the candidates, you vote for D's nuts.
Yep.
And if D's nuts wins. You need to have a backup plan for that because D nuts can't be
it's automatic.
A senator from a bunch of states.
It's automatic. Goes back to each party to put up a new candidate.
These nuts.
And it can't be a prior candidate.
Yep.
I like this plan.
These nuts. Yep. These nuts, Bill. Who's our representative in Congress we can talk to about this shit?
I know. Well, we don't donate enough money, so trust me, I've been down this road. They don't see you. You can sit in their office for 6 hours and you'll keep being told by the secretary. I ain't making this shit up, by the way. Oh, he's in a meeting or he's busy or you sit there all day. They'll give you coffee. They're very nice to you.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Literally, and you'll see people come in and meet with them. They're donors. They don't meet with people like you and me. It doesn't work that way. And people don't realize this is how it works. If you don't have money to spend, for these people, for your congressman or senator, you're not going to see them when you go to DC.
Well, then you should just walk in one of them big 6x4 checks.
Hey, I got something for you.
I got a donation.
When can we talk? So, what else we got? Because I got a couple.
Go ahead, go with your stuff. Hey, hand me the melon. I'm going to pour myself a little shot of melon.
Which one is the melon? Is it one behind
over your shoulder? Yep.
Yeah,
I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, so we have a Bigfoot report and I think 2 UFO reports as well. And we have to get to the UFO thing too, real quick. But the hearings, we had to go back to that. Okay. So we're gonna do a Bigfoot report. This was actually supposed to be in about 4 shows ago, and I forgot about it. So I had my own experience with Bigfoot back in the mid 1970s. I was 8 years old, visiting my grandparents' house in Holler, West Virginia, my hometown. The house is surrounded by woods on 3 sides. I was outside playing, and I started hearing this very loud thud sound. Thud, thud, thud. I looked towards where the sound was coming from and saw this big, hairy man coming down the side of the hill. As it got closer, I ran in the house. I'm under the living room window, and I raised my head up to look out the window, and now I'm nose to nose with this big, hairy man. I screamed and jumped back, and the big, hairy man walked away without a sound. I ran to the other living room window and watched as it turned to look at the house and disappear in the woods. I never forgot the sound of it walking or its leathery tan face and golden eyes. My grandma said she didn't believe me, but I never allowed it to play. I was never allowed to play outside again by myself. That's my story. I'll be 52 this year, and I'll never forget it. It's like it happened yesterday. When I was older, I measured from ground to the window, and it was almost 8 feet high where it would have stood.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. UFO reports. Then we'll jump into UFO hearings. This happened in Charleston, West Virginia. Oh, I did a West Virginia thing.
Nice.
Cigar shaped. Lasted 15 minutes. Myself and a friend were cleaning up our tools and materials after finishing up work on my roof. We both know it. Finishing. Yeah, that's it. He said fishing. He wrote it wrong. Okay.
Must be the accent.
Yeah. We both know this huge cigar-shaped craft moving slowly over our heads in a single white light on each side of the craft that alternated flashing each end. A couple of fur, as you said, fur, a couple of seconds each.
Yeah, it's fur.
Not fur. Right. The craft was moving east to west fairly slow and completely silent. We watched the craft for approximately 15 minutes till it was out of sight. I never saw anything like that before or again in my life so far. Webster Springs, West Virginia. Dish-shaped craft. Duration, 15 minutes. There were lights on the object, and the object left a trail. Here we go. There I was. I saw one saucer-shaped craft. I observed it raising into the air and hovering approximately 15 minutes before I left the area. This craft seemed to be light-colored, saucer-shaped, with something similar to fire, but white-blue in nature, emitting from the bottom. Now, I saw the exact same thing that this dude saw when I was a young man. I was 12 or 13 years old. And it almost looked like a blue corona discharge you would have, a flame attached to it with a high-voltage system. So I know exactly what this dude saw. This is kind of cool. It almost appeared to have a rocket-like appendage on the bottom. It rose rather quickly from the side of a mountain, the same mountain that my husband and I have been seeing other unusual things come down from, and hovered the whole time I sat and watched it. I sat there for approximately 15 minutes before leaving. I'm currently an employed teacher with a master's in reading education. I'm 50 years old and not a nutcase. All right. Well,
not a nutcase.
Not a nutcase.
Not a nutcase.
She has a master's degree in teaching. All right. So, and she's a teacher. Getting on to the hearings, the UFO hearings. So you had the DOD, right? Different officials there, and all these senators, and some of the senators were actually asking decent questions.
Right.
I'll give Gingerbread from New York State, Kristen, some credit because she has been pushing this. She's actually intelligent enough to understand the whitewash bullshit they're trying to pull. So if you read the transcripts through all this, because a lot of questions were asked, and you only see clips of it on the news, but they were asked, well, basically paraphrasing, what are these craft? Well, they're not a foreign government. Okay, they blatantly said that. It's not the Chinese, it's not Russians. And as far as we know, they're not ours. Okay, so that rules out a foreign government. Then they basically said they didn't believe it were aliens either. Okay, then what the fuck are they? They're craft. They called them craft. They admitted that they register on radar, infrared, regular, eyewitness, different devices that they use to measure these objects. So they know they're real. They're a tangible object. They went on to say, paraphrasing again, that they are looking into if we are in possession of any materials related to these craft, exotic materials. They are looking into, they've contacted foreign governments or looking into contacting the foreign governments, see if they have any materials or data that could help with this investigation. All right, this is where it gets very interesting. This is where the senators all fucking failed. They got a big fucking F. All right. And everywhere I've seen on Facebook where this has been discussed, I try to drop this in there. And this is where it's so essential that people do their own research. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to him. Go and research it yourselves. Find the facts for yourself. Don't. There's so many fake fact-checking shit out there. It's unbelievable. Politico, it's a news agency, and they fact-check the shit out of everything. They're fact-checking their own fake fucking shit. Don't listen to them. They're fake fact-checkers. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay. So talk about the group. all right, that's looking into this.
Mhm.
Okay, the group is 2 people at the DOD. There's 2 individuals at the DOD. They're actually doing all this. Okay, 2. They're looking into if we have these exotic materials. They're supposedly looking at through all the radar tapes, all the infrared gun tapes, all the videotapes the government has. They're supposedly looking into foreign governments or contacting all these foreign governments and seeing what they have. 2. Now these two DOD individuals, oh by the way, had their normal DOD functions to provide to perform at the same time. So it's not like they were removed from their current jobs and put into this to do this. No, they still have to do all the other shit they were doing before. And this is like the free time shit. All right, and this is where the senators fail because anyone with a fucking IQ knows. Well, wait a minute, if you only got 2 people doing this and they have their other jobs they have to perform first, where the fuck are they getting all the time to do this other shit?
Yeah,
they're not. This is another government whitewash bullshit deal. They let the cat out of the bag. They opened up Pandora's box. Pandora. Thank you, Pandora's box. And they're trying to put everything back in the fucking box now. Yeah, so the mile, like we're talking about the line, right? Yeah. The line's back there, and they're like, oh shit, let's back up. You can't do it. It's too far gone. You can't back up at this point. So that's where that is. That's all. It's the current looking into the current group working on this, whatever they're calling it now. It's made up of 2 people, and I'm not bashing these 2 people. They were put in a horrible position.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But the senators are not asking the right questions. They really, really aren't. They did admit, the DOD admit that they could pose a threat to national security. No, they do pose a threat to national security. Maybe not. If they could, they do. So we know they're not foreign governments. They said they don't believe it's alien. It is. And yes, we have the exotic materials. I mean, they built warehouses to house this shit. That's a fact. It's not even debatable. We know they did this. All right. So where is the materials out? Where are the warehouses? What foreign governments did they talk to? Let us know. Tell us. None of these questions were asked. And that's what's really frustrating. Government whitewash. Okay.
I mean, if the Congress really wanted to do something, they would head to the nearest MUFON conference.
Right, exactly. There you learn something.
Figure it out. Yeah, exactly. Paranormal field. Actually, I had one thing. So, after the last time I got kicked off Facebook and opened up my account again, I focused on just kind of sticking to the paranormal people, that kind of group. I didn't get into a lot of that. But apparently there's some rumblings out there from some paranormal investigators and enthusiasts that the Warrens, do you know what I'm talking about when I say Warrens? Ed,
yes.
And
Ed
and Lorraine Warren are nothing but charlatans and shysters, and they call them grifters, and they have nothing positive good to say about them. In fact, some of the stuff they are saying is downright disturbing. That Ed had a little bit of a young girl issue. So I'm kind of watching that, kind of keeping an eye on that. I mean, I like, I'm one of them. I like the ones I thought that they did. I found them interesting. Although I never had interaction with the Warrens themselves, I have had interactions with the stepson, who actually is kind of taking over the business.
Right.
And I'm not 100% sold on him. He's very, very religious, based on his style.
Ed, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Very,
yeah, exactly. No, exactly. I'm just saying. The pedo thing was interesting because apparently, and again, I didn't have time or inclination to dig into it much further, but apparently the movie contract for the rights to their story made it abundantly clear that they wouldn't be put into a bad light, which I get that. And there would be absolutely positively no mention of anything sexual with the family. and they get into kind of specifics of young girls and prostitutes and things like that. So there might be something after all. I don't know. And again,
here's my problem with that. Okay, and maybe there's something to this, like you said. Young girls, that's one subject, and that's sicko shit right there. Okay. The prostitute thing, Jesus Christ. You can take every goddamn politician in Washington D.C. right now. Washington D.C. and every person at the UN. They have huge orgies at the UN. And don't tell me they don't. They do. There's so much research on that. Again, people don't do their own research. And the media won't, because they're all connected to these people and whatever. Long story. But just the amount of sex that goes on, paid for in this country would blow fucking people's mind. Just blow their fucking minds. So to me, that's not a real issue. No, I don't.
No, the prostitutes.
That's to me. That's nothing. That's nothing. It's the world's own profession.
And if Ed and Lorraine had a open relationship, whatever it was.
Yeah, you know what?
Ed wasn't really a handsome man from what I see, and he's not like his movie character, and Lorraine is not like her movie character. And, they got good-looking people to play them in the movies.
When Bill Clinton said that Hillary's had more pussy than him, I was like, true. Way to go, Hillary. I didn't take that as like, oh, Jesus, these sickos. I'm like, hey, that's the kind of country you live in. If that's how they are, let them be. I mean, good for you. High five, I mean, who am I to judge?
I don't think I have to discuss.
Who am I to judge on that? You know what I'm saying?
Pussy Hillary's had, so.
I'm only saying that because I'm sure there's videos of me out there. I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, well, okay, we want to talk about those videos. Yeah.
Do a whole show on that sometime.
Oh Jesus. So yeah, this week was about just saying, you know what? There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's all, whether it was intended to be that way or not, it's a lot of distraction from core issues that we should be looking at. I think, again, I'm not saying the shootings are false flags, but in the last 14 days, we've had probably more mass shootings in this country than we've had in the past 14 months. There was Buffalo, there was something in California, there was something else in Texas that week. There was this one in Texas this week. There was, the Asian kid that went into the church that was predominantly Taiwanese and shot people there. There was another one down in Texas before this one. And
you haven't seen it in the news yet, but there was a threat at a school yesterday locally.
CV. Shenango Valley.
Oh, there was another. There's two.
Oh, was there? Okay, I saw Shenango Valley.
And they have apprehended the student. They called it in, and it's being considered a terrorist threat, homeland security type of shit. He's in deep shit because of that. They had sent police to every school. I think every school district actually in the entire local area. Every school for police presence to protect the students. You're talking millions of dollars spent over some kid calling in a threat, a fake threat.
Did they ship his ass off to Guantanamo?
I don't know what.
It wasn't that much. I mean, I hear you saying it's terrorist, but
it falls under the Terrorist Act.
They need to ship him.
He's being tried.
He needs to go to one. He just needs to go to Guantanamo. He can hang out with.
He's in some serious shit.
Sabada Bali Abu Dhabi. I'd have to go back and look. One of these
is not like the others.
Yeah. It was actually a goddamn 6-year-old that shot another 6-year-old.
Wow.
Can't remember which one it was now. Because I didn't have enough room in my spreadsheet to put all that information. Yeah, it was actually a 6-year-old that went in and shot the other 6-year-old. So I'm not sure, how he was radicalized by the internet, which wasn't really a big thing at this time, but it was just starting to be. So yeah, if you look into some of these, they're interesting, but I don't know if they rise to the level of what I think is a mass shooting. And if the only one that died was the shooter, that should be a wash. But one kid was being bullied. He'd been bullied months before. They showed up to do it again in the parking lot of the school. He shot 2 of the kids that showed up to bully him. Okay. I can't say I'm justifying it, but I can see where that might be. You terrorize someone in an office, they're bound to
if you
go to extremes to protect themselves.
If you push someone against the wall, eventually they're going to push you back.
Oh yeah.
You know, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, so what you going to do? What else is going on? We've covered just about a ton of shit.
Food shortages, gas shortages, formula shortage. The formula shortage just blows my mind. The fact that we have these in this country, we're having these shortages. Okay, the computer card chip thing.
Right.
I kind of get. I kind of get
shortages.
I kind of get.
You haven't seen shit yet.
I kind of get.
You haven't seen shit yet.
But why are we short on fucking food?
You haven't seen shit.
Why are we short on fucking gas?
You haven't seen shit yet.
How the fuck do you let us go short on fucking baby formula?
We're not going to see it as bad in this country, but other countries, especially African countries, are fucked this year for food. They're going to be No.
If it wasn't for us being racist, we might care, but we don't.
No, seriously. There are going to be massive food shortages worldwide this year due to this Ukraine shit and COVID. It's a terrible combination. This isn't a joke. I made this prediction. It had to be last year sometime. It was August or September. It was on this show. And I had said that there was food shortages coming. People should, and I did it on Facebook too. People should keep their eyes open around Christmas time. That you would start to see it a little bit, and you did. It was hard to find certain things,
right?
And now it's going to get progressively worse. We will see it here, but not to the degree that other countries are. And the food here, the prices are going to go through the roof. We're not even close to what shit's going to happen yet. We are in for some very, very tough times in this country. The housing market's going to fall. Not like it was in 2007, 2008, not that bad, but it's going to fall. We are definitely going to be in a recession. There's no doubt about it. We're in for some tough times. And this is one of the reasons I went out and bought a ton of shit now, because I know I'm going to be broke in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we're even seeing at the casino. We've seen in the last 2 weeks our toke rates dropped by $5-6.
I'm sure.
There's that going on. Gas. I drive 60 miles round trip every day for my job. If I'm having to pay $200+ a week for gas, unless the owner does something drastic with our wages, I don't know. It's gonna be a break even thing, and I'm too old to just work for break even at this point.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
I talked about, at work, even though I'm 2.2 miles from parking spot, but I drive big trucks, and when I can, I drive a Harley when it's nice. But regardless, it gets much over $5 a gallon. I have the ability to work from home, and if I'm going to continue working there, I will be working from home, because I'm not going to go to the office and spend that kind of money just to go to the office and do something I can do from home. That's ridiculous, so I won't do it. And if that means I don't work there anymore, fine, I don't work there anymore. I have a lot of other opportunities. So,
I think that's the big stuff. That's the big stuff. Again, I just to think, in the grand scheme of things, in just a few short months, we've fallen so far.
Oh my God. Night and day.
So far. Fallen so far.
And everyone sees it. I mean, you see it in the polls. People know the country's on the wrong track. I mean, you see it. Independents, the Democrats, even their percentage of support has fallen drastically compared to what it was. It's just, it doesn't matter what political party you belong to at this point or what you identify as. Everyone can see the road we're going down is 100% incorrect. And there was another subject I want to talk about tonight. We're not going to have time, unfortunately, so that'll be next show.
Do we think UK posted that they are at 8 or 9% inflation?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a blip article, and I don't know why more people haven't seized on to say, well, see, it's not Biden's fault. The United Kingdom's at 9% inflation as well. Secondly, I think someone we need to keep an eye on coming probably into 2024 is Joe Manchin.
Yeah, he'd be the perfect candidate.
Joe Manchin.
Yep.
Joe Manchin has almost gone out of his way to be as central a Democrat, almost lean right on some of his
I was
stuff.
going to bring that up too.
And I'm hoping it's not a ploy, but I think Joe Manchin is trying to offer his party an option from the crazy left bullshit.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Actually, I was going to bring it up
And
myself.
I think, if he can get enough of his party to move back towards the center,
right?
I think Joe Manchin might be the candidate.
No, you're right, and he'd be the candidate to beat. I'm going to tell you why. And this goes back to my whole Al Gore,
right,
support. Like, okay, you had a guy, he's a little to the left, compared, but not crazy left, just enough to centralist, but a little to the left, the environment and shit, what they care about. He'd get that vote. Manchin is a little bit opposite of that, but he's more down the middle, and he comes from a Republican state. He's a Democrat in a Republican state and gets voted in every year.
Well, I'll tell you,
he's a centralist, and
he's been sending the Republicans on a lot of critical shit.
And this is, again, I could vote for that guy. I could vote for Manchin because he's not so far to the left that he's a nut job, and he's not to the right where he scares me. I could vote for that gentleman.
I'm not sold on him yet. Not sold on him yet.
I could vote for him.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying I'm not. He's been in the establishment for a long time.
Well, who hasn't other than Trump? Who hasn't?
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But she'll never be the Democrat.
I get that.
The party chopped off her legs.
I get
she'll
that.
never be
that.
the nominee. She'll never ever get the nomination.
Well,
they'll do everything they can to keep
maybe not as president.
Maybe if it was him and her.
Manchin
if
gets
him
his foot in the door.
Right.
I would, if he was smart, we'd take her now.
Oh yeah,
heartbeat.
Because she's drawing a lot of libertarians.
That ticket.
Yeah.
I'd probably.
That would be a good ticket. That would be a great ticket for the Democrats.
That ticket I would probably sign.
But again, here's the Democratic Party. They are controlled by the small percentage of nut jobs. They're too fucking stupid to see it. Well, that's your ticket to win. Something like that's your ticket to win.
But Manchin's giving them an out, and they haven't found kiddie porn on Manchin's computer yet. Right. So obviously he's insulated himself enough to not be taken out in the normal manner. So they may be saying, let's see what Joe does and Joe Manchin does, and
unfortunately, I think you're right. I agree with you. He's the right candidate, but unfortunately, I keep seeing Warren. Man, I keep seeing her. So Pocahontas. It's going to be Pocahontas.
I think,
and Trump's going to be the Indian Slayer.
I don't think I don't know. I think Democrats that are interested in keeping their power are starting to say, "Hey, this group over here is just a little too crazy."
No,
for us.
I think you're wrong. I think they're so far gone. They're so past that line. There's no way for them to back up. And I mean, Pelosi would have never had power issues like she has in the past. Recently, in the past, like she has recently, it never would have happened. And it just shows you a total loss of grip of power that the old Democrats have. They've lost it. It's been literally taken over by these young radicals. And it's a small percentage of people. And that's what's really scary. As were the Nazis, who were, again, I hate to make a comparison, but very similar tactics. Mm-hmm. It's very scary, and it's really unfortunate. But I really think Elizabeth Warren's going to be their little torchbearer, and just keep. Again, I've been having that theme about her for a long time. I just see her as it won't be Bernie Sanders. He has,
No, Bernie.
The progressives are mad. I mean, like the hardcore progressives and the true communists hate Bernie Sanders at this point. They fucking hate him because they knew he sold out, especially in that last debate against Biden.
Twice now.
Yeah, that last debate. He let Biden off on every fucking opportunity, and they knew it. They saw it. And they knew the deal was made in the back before that fucking debate. They knew a deal was made, and they fucking hate that guy now. They fucking hate him. Bernie Sanders has no fucking chance whatsoever at all. None. So, he was a fake. He's a big fucking phony piece of shit. I used to like the guy because I thought he really believed in what he said. I remember I said that. I said I respected the guy because he believed in what he said. But fuck that. That guy's a piece of shit. He sold out his own fucking people. He's a piece of fucking shit. And his reasoning was, and I quote, he didn't be remembered like, who was it? The Green Party guy. Went after Ralph Nader. He didn't remember as a Ralph Nader. He didn't remember it as a Ralph Nader. That was his fucking excuse. The guy's a piece of fucking shit, not Ralph Nader. No. I'm talking about Ralph Nader is the real deal, by the way, because he stuck by his fucking guns. So fuck you, Democrats, and fuck you, Republicans. He stuck by his guns. Okay, done my tangent.
All right, that's it for tonight. Just try to get to eat or something.
Yeah, I do.
It's already past an hour or so.
Yeah.
All right.
Put my choo-choo
until next week, God only knows what next week's about. We're going to try to keep it paranormal if we can, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the next 128 hours between now and next week. So we'll worry about that.
Yep.
I'm Anvil.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are signing off for
Excite Motorsports and Current RV.
And whatever the other place was.
I just said Current RV.
Current RV. All right.
And Excite Motorsports. Augusta, New York. Current RV, Pine City.
Unsolicited endorsements. Please do not boycott those companies. Thank you.